Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to another movie review, and for this now for this one, we're back into the action films, and which is one that I really do enjoy. Another film that also me and my brother also love watching, and another one of my which I'll say is another one of my favorite Harrison Ford performances, Air Force One. Which I know, it's one of my favorite performances from Harrison Ford. I know everybody would say, "Oh, it's either Indiana Jones or Han Solo," though. But besides those roles, but in other films, though. And Harrison Ford, of course, he plays the president. He's the president of the United States in the film. Um, it's another one of those. It's another one of those Die Hard, those Die Hard films, like Speed was Die Hard on a bus, or like this is a Die Hard on the president's plane, or what was the other one? Under Siege, Die Hard on a battleship, or the sequel, Die Hard on a train. It's those type of films, and I really do enjoy this film. And Harrison Ford did a great job as the president of the United States. Um, we have other cast members. Gary Oldman, which is I think was one of my favorite villainous roles from Gary Oldman. Other cast is Glenn Close as the vice president. Um, William H Macy's in it. Other cast members, Paul Guilfoyle as another member on the ship, he's also well known, starring in the original CSI TV show. He's as Captain Brass. So you probably remember him from starring in the CSI Crime Scene Investigation show. He's in it. Dean Stockwell, which probably remember starring in the show Quantum Leap, and he also was in a role in Beverly Hills Cop 2, And the other one playing is Wendy Crewson, who plays, I think it was his the president's wife. And also Xavier, what is that guy's name? Xander Berkeley, which he's been in other films, and like in a role in a Universal Soldier Return, or the first Taken film, or there was another film I remember him in. Let me see. I know he's been in other films. I just want to look up, see what other stuff he's been in. Well, I just don't want to take too much time, because this is the last time my previous review of Mouse Hunt was over an hour. I don't want to make that into over an hour. But I've seen him other stuff though. And so you got a pretty good cast in this film, And it's directed by Wolfgang Petersen, the director of Troy, Perfect Storm, Poseidon, the remake, Outbreak, in the line of fire. Where is the other stuff? How do you say, dude, keep on doing this? Here we go. Yeah. And that's the other film, Enemy Mine. That was the film. That was the science fiction film with Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. in the first Never Ending Story film. so those other films, yeah. And this is I would say it's one of my favorite films that he's directed. You know, I like the other films like In the Line of Fire with the Clint Eastwood, John Malkovich, Outbreak, Enemy Mine, the first Never Ending Story film. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of. Oh, Poseidon, you know, was a generic film, you know, which I did a review of that film, you know, but not the biggest fan of Troy either, though, or The Perfect Storm either. But definitely one of his. But the thing is, I would say is one of his best films. And I really do enjoy the score by once again by Jerry Goldsmith. I was going to say I keep on saying he's one of my favorites, you know, but I was say he's my favorite music. I'll say he's my favorite music composer, you know. I keep saying he's one of my favorites, but I'll say he's because he's my favorite music composer, you know. He's done scores on a lot of great films, which I've already said before. So, but this is another good score that he did right in this film, you know. And when the film came out, it was a box office hit, you know, and made over 172 million in the U.S. and overall worldwide 315 million on a budget of 85 million. It was a box office success, and it was the fifth highest grossing film of 1997. Which, also in my previous review I did, was also released in 1997. How about that? Funny, you know. And it received positive reviews as well as a 6.4 on IMDb, which I think could have been higher. But it has a 79% of Rotten Tomatoes, which is good enough. And it was critics like Roger Ebert gave it a 2.5 stars, you know. But same for the the performances were good. Even Bill Clinton liked the film. You know, he said said he saw it twice and he did enjoy the film. You know, so he gave the film praise. That's the thing that was funny though. But yeah. Even the film was nominated for two Academy Awards. One for best film editing and the other one for best sound mixing. But it didn't win though. But this film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, so the film was good enough to earn those 2, you know. And getting into the film, it opens up, you know. Well, it didn't open up, but there was a point in Kazakhstan, you know, this guy who was a general named Radek, you know, who was played by Jurgen Prochnow, who was John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness as Sutter Kane, and he's also in other films as well. So that's another cast member I forgot to mention, Jurgen Prochnow. He gets taken captive, you know, and then a couple weeks later, in Russia, Moscow, you know, President James or Jim, you know, Marshall Harrison Ford is the president, you know, giving a speech, you know, at this dinner, you know, and people that didn't take it that well, you know, and I haven't seen the film well. I know some of the film. I know some of the lines of dialogue later on in the film, but I just forget what he said at the beginning of the film at the dinner, you know. But I remember it being good performance, and Harrison Ford says a couple funny lines of dialogue as well, you know. But so they're ready to head back home, you know, on Air Force One, you know, and some other people, which Gary Oldman and a couple of others, you know, they aboard the plane, you know. And you get other people, you know, as they're taking off, you know, everything seems fine, you know, Harrison Ford was like president, you know, him with his daughter and his wife, you know, and as the plane's moving on, you know, there's this one of the bodyguards played by Xander Berkeley, you know. You can say he's like the traitor of the group because I guess they said that he he got tipped off, by the other people, to do this, And he shoots a few people in the head, some good practical blood squibs, Um, so like he throws a smoke, like a smoke grenade, which signals Gary Oldman and his men, They get the body, bulletproof vests and all their automatic weapons, They start shooting people, taking other people hostages, the other passengers hostages, The bodyguards, they take the president, down to that escape escape pod, and everyone else just shoots all the bodyguards are dead, and which they think the president is in the escape pod, and which is really not. He's still on the plane, still. Then he cuts it back to the White House, Glenn Close as the vice president, which she does a good job in the film, It's like, how this happened, how the hell did they get Air Force One? So the plane starts to land at the airport where everybody's waiting though, but they shoot the pilots. They put the plane back up in the air, which the guy who's supposed to be flying the bad guy's pilot of the plane. I've seen him before in other films. Just want to get that other guy's name. I forget what that guy's name though, but I've seen him in other films, I remember seeing him have a role in Deep Star 6, and of course I've seen him in Sam Raimi's later Spider-Man films. He was the landlord, But I recognize him. I've seen him in some stuff, as well. But so that's another thing. I recognize him, So all the people are held in the conference room, Gary Oldman gets upset because the president's not on board, which he doesn't think he is, So they want to negotiate, but they want General Radek out of prison, and Harrison Ford, which like this were back in the Washington, with the conference, one of the guys that's talking to Glenn Close, was like, there may be a chance that he may be still on the plane, Let's not forget this man is a Medal of Honor winner. In Vietnam, he flew more helicopter rescue missions than any other pilot I ever had in my command, He knows how to fight, So, yeah, so that's what this president is, a cool president, he flew in Vietnam, flew helicopter rescue missions, He's a Vietnam veteran, And he's still on the plane. He pops his head to see where the hostages are being held, And one of the guys that's down there is coming back up, so he goes and runs to the next room, And I like the idea where he distracts one of the bad guys for he has a TV of a football game which he was watching earlier, So he gets to another part of the room, and the guy goes in this room. He sees the chairs. Each one is facing an opposite direction. Which he kicks one which he thought where the guy was, and he turns around and knocks the gun out of the guy's hand. And nice, good little. I like the little bit of a tussle where the bad guy just throws the president, but manages to get back up and gives him a good kick, and then hits him with a freaking stool, and gets the keys, and he's about to open the door. The guy still shoots, and he starts shooting at the door, and then the president just goes and shoots the guy and finishes him off, But the other guy's here, and he gets away, which they thought he was in one of the bathroom stalls, but he snuck away down into the basement of the plane, So then he starts searching through luggage, finds a phone, and starts tries to call the White House, and and back up upstairs, the Gary Oldman goes back into the room with the hostages, and says they'll kill a hostage each half hour, and they Glenn Close and the others they try to talk to Gary Oldman saying they need more time, and Gary Oldman's like, more time, bang, shoots one guy in the head, Your national security advisor has just been executed. He's a very good negotiator. You just bought yourself another half hour. Gary Oldman did a really good job as the bad guy. It's one of my favorite performances from Gary Oldman, Of course, my brother really also enjoyed him as the bad guy as well, which is, there he is, right there, So, and then back during the below deck, the president tries to call the White House, when one of the bad guys goes down there now. Which this guy I've seen, name Andrew Divoff, which you probably recognize him for playing he's the Wishmaster, in the first two Wishmaster films, he plays as the Wishmaster, and I was like, oh really, that's the guy who plays the Wishmaster, Wishmaster. The first film that Robert Englund had a role in, So yeah, the guy who plays the Wishmaster, he's one of the bad guys as well, And there's when the president tries to call the White House, there's a woman on the phone. It's like, he's telling him this is the president, It's like, yeah, and I'm the secretary. I'm the first lady, It's like, don't cut me off. This is an emergency, Trace the call, whatever, and trace the goddamn call, The woman realizes, and puts it onto the speaker where the other people in the room are, And he puts it in his pocket so that the people in the White House are listening to him talk, It's like, listen to me. Because I'm talking to the bad guy, You know who I am. I'm the President of the United States. And that doesn't mean I don't shoot you. Put your hands behind your head and move. And wherever he said in Russian, whatever. So he starts saying stuff which is really telling the people on the other side of the phone, which the bad guy doesn't understand. It's like, wait, tell me, what are you telling me? What do you mean, It's like tell them, the people on the phone. It's like, tell the F-18s to fire on the plane, So like the plane would shake up a little bit, and it's like, all it matters is we get knocked off our feet. That's all, So he's giving an order to fire on the plane, to tell the fighter jets to fire on them, so in order to shake up the plane so that they'll lose balance, so they can fight the other guy, So which it does, the plane starts shaking and gets into a fight with the bad guy. Andrew Divoff was his name is. Punches him, throws him, not throws him, just shoves him more, and gives him another punch and has him in a chokehold and snaps his neck, So he's talking back on the phone, telling what's happening and what are negotiations, So he's trying to find a way to land the plane, So he has an idea to dump fuel, Gets into another this part of the plane where the fuel lines are, And while he's trying to do that, the bad guys take a woman upstairs into the cockpit where the president's wife and daughter are being held up there, and they put her on a speaker, so they're trying to force the president to, which time they don't know it's the president. They're saying whoever's down there to come back and reveal himself, so they don't have to have another person killed, But the president doesn't want to do that though, because he knows what's going to happen, and he's forced to hear this over the speaker, how the woman's has a gun pointed at her head, and Gary Oldman's counting down, and he does feel bad about what happens, he knows the woman got killed though, but he feels really bad about it though, because what will happen, and you feel for the president, he knows he's not supposed to go up there, but the woman got killed, but yet he feels bad about it, you know. Just about even then you see him, he gets really mad though, but he's about to go up, then they shut the door back down, you know, the hatch, whatever. So he goes and tries to call on the phone, but the call goes dead. The phone goes dead. So he has a knife, you know, to try to cut the wires, you know, so he can hotwire them together. So the order to dump fuel, you know. And there's like 5 different colors. There's green, yellow, red, white, and blue, you know. So he cuts one wire, and he looks at the other wires, which are the red, white, and blue wires. He's like, I'm counting on you, red, white, and blue, you know. And cuts the green wire or yellow wire, or whatever it was. And he knocks them together, and the fuel starts dumping, you know. So two of the bad guys, they go down there, you know, tried to correct the mistake, you know. And the person starts firing at them, you know. And the other bad guy hears from upstairs and is like calling on them, you know. And like the bit where Harrison Ford starts speaking in their language, you know, forcing the tricking the guy, you know. So which the guy comes back up, you know. The guys come back up and thinks everything's fine, which really the president's holding the guy at gunpoint, you know. So he gets into the room where the hostages are. So they try to think of another way to get the people off the plane, which they can which the bad guys are trying to plan to refuel up in the air in midair, you know, and. So they will plan to get all the people downstairs where there's a parachute ramp, you know, there's parachutes so people can get off, you know, try to talk to make the fuel liner to go at a certain level of feet, you know, so in order for the people to jump off, you know. Which they do, they send a fax, you know, and the people are everyone's at the parachute ramp or whatever it is, you know. So as the plane, the fuel plane attaches itself to the plane to start refueling the plane, you know, and then they open up the hatch and the people start jumping out of the plane. One of the bad guys get down there, put this like thing against the door, shoots it, and the door just flies open and starts all this air out, you know, and some people parachutes fall out, and some people that don't have parachutes they fall out, you know. And the president is holding on, you know, because he's at the edge, you know, and this causes the fuel tanker starts leaking fuel, and then it catches on fire, leaks up all the way up, and the plane explodes, which is a really which I like. I like this the wide shot of the plane exploding. It's a good explosion, you know, and the plane going underneath it, you know, the sequence. I like that sequence, you know, how the plane explodes and everything like that. You know, I like that sequence. You know, it's a good explosion, you know, of a plane, you know. So they eventually get captured. They're all brought to the pit, you know. Gary Oldman hits him a couple of times, you know. Tells him to negotiate into freeing Radek, you know. He says no, you know. But he forces him to, because he's holding a gun at his family, you know. So, which he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to endanger his family. So he eventually says yes to release Radek, you know, or Jurgen Prochnow is his name, the actor's name. So shows him in prison. He's being released, you know, and of course they're in the White House. They're all mad because he eventually got released, you know, and Harrison Ford, he's like, when he's tied like this, you know, and he secretly has a piece of glass, starts untying like cutting through the duct tape, you know. He frees himself, throws Gary Oldman over, shoots one of the guys. But Gary Oldman was about to shoot him. Paul Guilfoyle steps in. He takes the bullet for him, you know. And he shoots Gary Oldman, but as he falls down the stairs, his wife falls down with him, you know. and he takes her away down below, and shoots the other guy in the head. So he goes down there, down below, and he's like, if anything ever happens to the general, your wife will die. So he falls all the way back into the parachute hatch, whatever it's called, and he's like, what was the lines like? You made a mistake of killing. You killed my pilot, Mr. President. No one else to fly this plane, and no parachute, because he throws all the remaining parachutes out the door, And no matter what happens, you lose, and I win. Then his wife hits the gun away from him, and Harrison Ford gets into a scuffle with Gary Oldman, holding each other's throat, and Harrison Ford starts wrapping this thing around his neck and pulls on his parachute, and which the parachute goes out, and he's like, And of course, this is the line that my brother absolutely loves, I really do enjoy the line, but my brother, of course, he takes things over the top, but goes a little bit too far with the line, though. But I like the line as well, He says, "Get off my plane," and just jerks Gary Oldman, causes him to break his neck, And he goes and flies off with his lifeless body and the parachute, But I really do enjoy that line, him saying, "Get off my plane." But my brother, I don't know how my brother is. He takes stuff up to the nth degree, But at least we're both in agreement that it's a very good line that Harrison Ford says, I really do enjoy the line. He says, "Get off my plane," The thing is one of my favorite. I was also say was one of my favorite lines that's from Harrison Ford. So they regain, all the bad guys are dead. They regain control of the plane. So he has him and William H. Macy be a co-pilot for him. And so it's been a while since I've flown. It's like, but I've only flown little planes. So they're on their way back. But then some Russian fighter jets are come in to destroy them. And then the other good guys, fighter jets, they started blowing up all the other planes, and one pilot that takes a missile for the plane. It's like the plane's lost countermeasures. I'm going in, and self-sacrifices himself, but they've caused them to some of the debris of the plane hits the plane. They're slowly leaking fuel, So they destroy the other of the jets, and they're there to, stay with them, Then they get the indication of the other. There's another large plane out there that can help to transport them onto that plane, because they're running out of fuel and the engines are burning off, So they attach themselves. They have a line attached to themselves, They get the daughter and the wife there safely, and to get Paul Guilfoyle up there. He's injured, but he's shot though, but he's still alive, So he gets over there safely, But all the engines, they're all shut down, but they only have time to get the president off, But he doesn't want to. He wants everyone else to get off the plane, but Xander Berkeley, as Agent Gibbs, is his name, Gibbs, shoots one of the pilot rescuers, and then shoots William H. Macy, shoots him first, and then gets up close and shoots him again, and he's like, "Give me the strap," and the president's like, I trusted you with my life," and he says, "So will the next president, I'm getting off this plane." It gives him a good couple punches, The president gives a good couple of punches to him, and he straps himself just before the thing snaps, he gets jerked off the plane, and he's holding on for dear life on the line, And now this of course gets I think this is the only nitpick that I have of the film, because this is a bad effect, the power of the plane, when the plane crashes is all entirely CGI, you see how when the plane crashes against the water, how the plane collapses apart. You know, it's not that very good looking. You know, that's a bad looking effect. You know. Other than that, though, I think that's the only problem I have with the film was just how the badly CGI plane crashes into the ocean. You know, that's the only problem I have with the film. You know, other than that, I really do enjoy the film. You know, um, the president safe, everybody's cheering. You know, um, I really do, and that's the end of the movie. You know. And I like the score at the playing at the end of the film is, you know, when the president gets on board and da really da da how did it go da 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 da, you know, doing a bad job though, but I really do enjoy this film. I really do love this film. You know, it's it's considered one of the best action films of the '90s. You know. Well, of course, this came on in the late '90s, you know. But I really do love this film, you know. Harrison Ford did an outstanding job as the president, you know. As among the many actors who plays presidents, you know, Bill Pullman. I love Bill Pullman as as the president in Independence Day, you know. Especially when he gave that great speech, you know, though. But Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact, you know, Danny Glover in 2012. Aaron Eckhart in Olympus Has Fallen, and among other actors that plays presidents, you know. But Harrison Ford, I would say is the best one that playing as a president, you know. Maybe it's because maybe it's because they made him more of an action hero, you know, more than just, you know, a president just in one of the films of him sitting down and just talking in front of the camera, you know. But this is the president guy to kick a lot of ass, you know, when he got to do stuff, you know. Him trying to save his family and other people of his plane, you know. Gary Oldman did a great job as the bad guy, you know. One of my favorite performances, him playing as the bad guy, like next to him in The Fifth Element, and him in Leon the Professional, you know. He does a really a great job as the bad guy, you know. The other cast members do a good job as well. Glenn Close as the vice president, you know, she does a good job. Other cast members, Dean Stockwell as the Secretary of Defense, you know, he was good as well. Because he was like trying to make the vice president sign this thing, you know, which requires him to destroy Air Force One, including with everybody on it, you know, and Glenn Close refuses to sign, you know, and by the end of the film she tears up that piece of paper, you know. D. Stockwell, you know, he does a good job. Other cast members, William H. Macy was good. Paul Guilfoyle was fine. Xander Berkeley as the traitorous bodyguard, Agent Gibbs. He was fine as well. The other bad guys, sort of like the typical bad guys, you know, terrorists, bad guys, whatever, you know. It was nice to see that one of the bad guys was the guy who played Wishmaster, you know. What was the guy's name? Andrew Divoff. Oh, I think Divoff. I think what his name was. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, you know, after when all the bad guys were dead, you know, they called back into the prison that all the terrorists are dead on the plane. So, but as the general Rag was about to get released, you know, he starts to make a break for it, you know, but eventually they shoot him dead as well, you know. I forgot to mention that part though. And of course, the score by Jerry Goldsmith is as they shoot the general and as he falls down dead, the score playing doing oh, you know. The whole cast does a really good job, especially for the two leads, you know, Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman. They all did an outstanding job, you know. The supporting characters, they all do a good job, like Glenn Close among others, you know. I really do enjoy the score by Jerry Goldsmith. The directing by Wolfgang Petersen was good, you know. Like I said before, the only thing I have was the bad CGI plane going down into the ocean. That was the only problem I have with the film, though, because that was horrible looking CGI, you know. Even though it's from 1997, though, it was bad. It was a bad looking plane, CGI plane crashing into the ocean. It was not that good at all, you know. But other than that, though, I would say among I agree right here by Peter Travers, Rolling Stone, breathtaking, gripping, nail biting, edge of your seat entertainment. Or on the back of here, it says by Janet Maslin, the New York Times, a fast-paced, red-blooded action movie. I can definitely agree on that, you know. This film was over. This film was 2 hours and 5 minutes, but like I said, it went at a fast pace. You know, it was fast-paced. It didn't get boring, you know. Red-blooded action movie. There were some good practical blood squibs I saw in there, you know. Action movie-wise, yeah, I would say it's a classic action movie of the '90s, you know. I would definitely say that. I would say this film is a classic in the action movie department, you know, or the action category, you know. It's just one of those, like I said, it's Die Hard on a president's plane, you know. Among those other Die Hard film categories as well, you know. Which the other ones, like I really do enjoy Speed. That's another classic action film of the '90s, you know. Um, Under Siege, which was like Die Hard on a battleship, you know, or the sequel #2, Die Hard on a train, you know. This is like the category of those Die Hard films, you know. This one, Die Hard on a president's plane, Harrison Ford really pulled it off well as this president of the United States, you know, and him try to save his family and all the hostages as well, and he does a really great job, you know. Other than the performances, excluding the performances from Indiana Jones or Star Wars, which everybody says either those two are his best performances, but put those aside, besides him doing in other films as well, you know, it's definitely one of my favorite performances from Harrison Ford, you know, besides those two films, you know, but in other roles, you know. So yeah, that's basically my review for Air Force One. I would say it's great action film, you know, especially it came out from 1997, you know. Anything else? For another much for features, does have a trailer and does have a director's commentary as well, you know. Well, besides the trailer, well, not much for features, but at least this film does have a commentary, you know. Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it, you know. The pacing was fine, you know. The cast was great, you know. Well, especially the two main characters were great, you know. The other supporting cast members were good though, not great but good. Really do enjoy the score. Like I said, Jerry Goldsmith, I would say, is my favorite music composer. May he rest in peace, you know. And this is Jerry Goldsmith. Jerry Goldsmith has a unique way of doing scores to films, you know, from Alien, you know, Leviathan, this film as well, and or even or his score in Deep Rising. I would say I'll get to that another time. Like, well, I really love Deep Rising though, but his score on that film was okay at best though, decent though, but not one of my favorite ones from Jerry Goldsmith though. But at least that's a decent score in Deep Rising, you know. That's a criminally underrated creature feature film, but at least Jerry Goldsmith did that, you know. For him doing creature feature films, you know, like Death, Deep Rising, Alien, Leviathan, you know. But I would still say, but Jerry Goldsmith has done more films than that though. But I really do enjoy his score in this film as well, you know. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my review for Air Force One. Check it out if you haven't seen the film, you know. Won't be disappointed, you know. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned on the next movie review, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.